Hello? You've been walking without any feeling. You've been moving, you've been pushing, but you hadn't been feeling nothing at all. You've been numb to everything around you. You've been numb to pain. You've been numb to everything, where it feels as though you're in a nightmare. It feels as though you're in a nightmare. But let me explain something to you. The fact that you're moving forward, that's a miracle. That's a miracle. See, because I got some news to tell you today. Your feelings are coming back. Your feelings are coming back. Let me explain something to you. I'm going to explain something to you about someone who's been paralyzed, particularly from the waist down. When a person has been paralyzed from the waist down, what happens is that the central nervous system, initially the central nervous system delegates, and the central nervous system will speak to the motory, the movement part, or the sensory, the touching part, and that's what makes them move. But when things have happened, or when there's a blockage, or there's an intrusion, or a virus that comes within the body, because inside the body there's communication, and what happens when the communication has stopped, and that's when the body stops moving, motion stops moving. But glory be to God. Interesting to know that when things have been blocked and stopped from a virus, the central nervous system itself, it usually would delegate. It would delegate to the motory part, the motion part, or it would delegate to the sensory part. But when that doesn't happen, God has another way of getting to the place of causing those things that are broken to move again. The central nervous system will bypass those areas that it normally would delegate to, and go to the source of the places or the condition that's been mobile, that can't move, or immobile that can't move. And so this is what I see. The fact that you've been standing, you've been gone, you've been going through. See, but what you need to realize is that you're walking without feeling. What you need to realize, understand, after I'm through with this video, and my son's going to begin to walk, he's going to do some more practice on walking. What many of you don't know, he's walking without feelings. He has been walking without feelings because he has strong hip muscles, hip flexors. And the thing about it with his hip flexors, see, the muscle, like as far as in his, where his thigh is at, or his quad, the stronger that muscle gets, the more it will move or affect the muscles that are weak. You know what I'm saying? The strong areas, there's an impact, there's a radius that from the strong areas, what eventually happens is that the impact of those strong areas that are being activated, the impact of the radius of that shock wave will touch other areas that had not moved or hadn't been moving yet, and it will waken it up. This is what's happening with many of you in God. See, there's certain conditions that had you paralyzed and had you can't move. You've been stuck. See, but what God did, because of His Holy Ghost and His power, He bypassed all of that. He kept you breathing. He kept you seeking. He kept you alive. And so many of you, you're at a place where you're walking, but you're alive, but you're waiting on that touch. You're waiting on that touch that will cause you to really wake up, to cause you to really stand up again. See, many of you, you're wobbly. You're trying to fight your way up. You're trying to fight your way up in certain conditions. See, but you're moving. The fact that you're moving, that means that God is speaking to you. He's speaking to that source, and He's speaking to that broken place. He's speaking to that hurt place. The Bible says the sacrifice that God accepts is a broken spirit and a contrite heart. And the fact that your heart is broken, God is speaking to you. Even though you can't feel it, but He's speaking to that condition. See, the thing about it is interesting, because when a person has facing paralysis, and even with my son, he's walking, but what happens every now and then, what happens is that the strong part is moving the weak part. The part that's strong in his leg is making everything move. And this is what God has been doing for so long. But the time has come. The time has come. And I'm saying this prophetically, even concerning my son, Daniel. His feelings are coming again. It's starting to come down. They're starting to spread again. And interesting, with Daniel, the first leg that went out was his left leg, then his right leg. But now, as the power returned, it's returning back from the left leg to the right. And so the thing about it, and the place that you lost, the place that was hurting, the place that was destroyed, the place that you lost it, God is going to go back to that same place. And he's going to rebuild you from that same place. And he's going to restore you from that same place. That place that your relationship, your marriage failed. Misunderstanding failed. God is going to cause wisdom to come in your heart, come in your life, come in your relationship. And he's going to cause you to have the ability and the understanding to restore your love, to restore your relationship. God has taken many of you back to that place, back to that moment of your childhood where you didn't understand. He's going to give you understanding there, where you had all these questions. He's going to answer your questions. And say, man, you're crying out. You're still crying out. God is saying, keep crying. Cry it out, because in that cry, what's coming up, your victory. What's coming up is your breakthrough. What's coming up is your deliverance. What's coming up is your healing. What's coming up is revelation knowledge. What's coming up is wisdom. What's coming up is strength. And the Bible said those that are weak put on strength. Say, I'm strong. And so strength is coming again. Strength is rising in you. It's rising in you like the ocean. It's rising in you like the tide. Hear me. Hear me. Have a good day. God bless.